Hey guys, so welcome to today's presentation. So what I wanted to do today was more focus on, I guess, the positive things that are going on, because it's an amazing thing. I've talked about the virus and the human side, or the human tragedy, and the economic side. And so we looked at the economic side, which can be, three levels of, not sensational, okay, long-term, crappy, and absolutely terrible. And we've looked at the virus, and to be fair, there's plenty of other people that are better than me at the virus. But the human side is an interesting one, because I think that's been missed a lot in all the news. We've gone for this side and this side, but not dealing with the human tragedy. And I think, and in fact, not even the human tragedy. I think the opposite side of that, because as leaders and as humans, we've really got to present the side that, the positive side. And I think it's not getting out there enough, and that's the problem with the media. So what I want to do today was give you 9 reasons, to draw inspiration and hope from. Because actually, there's so many good things happening that, are just being missed over. There's one little article packed away somewhere. YouTube's not full of it. So I wanted to, give that to you. So sure, we'll go through our normal stuff but we'll get into the really great things that are happening. And it's bloody impressive. And I have to say, even for my team and all that sort of stuff, the things that are going on are pretty cool. All right. So let's get started anyway. Okay. So 9 reasons to draw hope and inspiration. Look, 21 days, UK lockdown, 18 days left, so we're counting down. Actually, my team have been working from home for the last 2 weeks, and it's amazing how they've adapted to it now. And, sure, they want to be, they miss the banter and they miss all that sort of stuff in those games, but actually, people are getting by, and it's amazing the human side that's coming out, and that's what I really want to get across today, is the human side. So 81 days where I think, left. Wuhan, was 90 days. If we look at where we're at 470, we're at 422, so that's the biggest day jump since this started. 380 before that. So there's some serious numbers of cases being added and deaths being added. Now, down here in the UK, actually, we had a big day yesterday, which was, 1,500, almost 1,500 people, new cases. But I'll show you why I think it's not too, potentially it's looking good. Good. Relatively good compared to what it could be. Actually, it's terrible, but yeah. The interesting thing is the USA, and I think the USA, they are just going to get hammered from here on in. And, 50% of their cases are from New York, but actually the rest of them are coming online now because they just haven't responded appropriately. But anyway, let's have a look at this. So this is the updated graph. So you can see, Italy at this point, okay, which was, what I've done is I've taken all the dates and I've compared them. So Italy's first death, these are deaths, was on the 21st of February. UK was the 7th of March, and US was 29th of February. So if you look at those, here, down at where we are, and these are various dates. So right now, they're 7,500 in Italy, 465 in the UK, and 1,020. So the dates are different, but if you look at number of days since the first death, and I'll use UK as the middle bit. So Italy was at 827, UK is 476, and US was 150. And I've got all those figures in red because I don't believe them. They aren't testing enough. They're turning away people that should be getting tested and should be hospitalised. They want to keep there, and this is all absolute crap. But anyway, they're doing. They have a go at China about the BS, but the reality is with this, and I think this is what you've got to realise with this whole thing. The videos that are coming out and the social media that's coming out just shows the sheer level of incompetence and not really giving a shit about human, the human side. They are worried about the economics of it, and in fact, they're not even worried about the virus. It doesn't really seem they're doing much for the virus either. There's it's appalling to watch, and Trump has a lot to answer for, but it's not just Trump, it is all of the politicians that are more interested in bailing out the big corporates and giving them handouts than actually really helping the people that they're there to serve. And but that's, this is in 100 years' time, we'll look back at the US and it will no longer be the superpower, and we'll laugh at the whole joke that it was. It's a failed economy, I think, yeah, it may be the biggest in the world, but their arrogance just is incredible, So I don't have a lot of, delight for them. But yeah, so let's get back into it. So look, 9 things to draw inspiration from. In the UK, they called out for volunteers, and they've already, the first day, they had 250,000 people. Yeah, 250,000 people signed up. They've now got 560,000 people willing to help out, whether it be in hospitals, whether it be whatever it is, helping the elderly, whatever. 4,500 doctors and nurses, 4,000 nurses, 500 doctors re-signed. The retirees re-signed back up, which is extraordinary. They've ordered the UK's ordered 3.5 million tests. That's 5% of the population that can be tested. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, because what we know, if you want to control this, testing and contact tracing are 2 of the key components. Obviously, isolation and stopping the spread, 100%. But getting those tests out. Interestingly, one of the great things about being in real estate, I've got lots and lots of friends who are in real estate in China. And so talking to them and what's been happening and just getting updated, it's amazing. So Shanghai's open for business now. It's back to normal, a new normal, okay? But the interesting thing, Beijing is already 50% reopened. So there's still, bits in place. It's not 100% the way it was, and I don't think it'll be back to the way it was for a long time. But there is an end in sight. Now, is there a second wave? That's another story for another video, okay? But the bottom line is that's good. The other side is the virus isn't mutating very quickly, or much. And what I mean by that is it's not mutating quickly. There's only 2 strains of it, and the strains are very similar, okay? 0.9 or 99.999% similar, which basically what that means is that when we do get a vaccine, if we get the vaccine, it could eradicate it totally, okay? Because if it's constantly evolving and all that, the vaccine, you have a vaccine, it'll be for those strains, but not the mutated strains. So that's good news. So there's a lot of this good news coming out that's just being missed out on all the sensationalism and all the economics and virus side, and not the inspirational, the human side. And that's really what I think we're going to get into is that human side. Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, all these places, I said Hong Kong, have contained the spread. They've been able to successfully contain the spread of the virus, which is fantastic. And they've done that through lots of testing, contract tracing. Now, they did have a head start because they had SARS, back. And the realities with SARS, I think it was 2002 they had it, SARS. They already experienced how to contain these things and the protocols to put in place. And they were quick to act. They flattened the curve, okay? Which is fantastic. I mean, I'm actually in Singapore right now as we speak, and things are still open. People are still going to work. Yes, there's lots of restrictions and things like that, and what we've found is the second wave has been imported cases now. So our caseload is going up every day, but it's almost a second wave of imported and the odd cluster of things that is happening. Yeah. So China, Russia, even Cuba are helping others. So what we're finding now is that people so China and Russia who hasn't had it, and Cuba's hasn't had it, but basically the people that haven't had it are sending their resources and their doctors and all that to things like the EU, things like Africa, where they're having problems with it, and they're helping them out. So all of a sudden, whereas you've got the US, and I make mention there, the US on one side of the thing, which is very insular and very much, put up the barriers and all that sort of stuff. We don't want any help. We don't need any help. We're perfect response, 10 out of 10, rubbish. Actually, the rest of the world is coming together. And you can say this is a Chinese and a Russian propagandist, and I know there's lots of conspiracy theories, and I've been reading through a lot of these. But actually, the science doesn't necessarily add up for a lot of these conspiracy theories around, a Chinese-made virus and things like that. Or even that the virus was, spread from the army and from the Maryland, whatever it was, facility. I mean, there's so many, all these sort of things. They always come out. But you know what? The best thing to do is not focus on that sort of stuff, all right? Focus on the good stuff, which is that actually there is a lot of good happening, And sure, China is using this and Russia's using this as a propaganda, and marketing PR pitch. If we don't like it, we call it propaganda. Otherwise, if we like it, we call it PR. It's the same thing, yeah? It's a marketing effort. Tests are improving. So when we first started, it was taking 7 days to get a test back. Now it's 24 hours, and they reckon they'll have it down to in a few hours. Now, the quicker we get the tests, the quicker we quarantine people, the more we get rid of the spread, so that's all great. Interestingly, and this is one of the great byproducts of that, is that the air pollution has dropped dramatically. They reckon, this is an amazing stat, they reckon that just based on China being shut down for that period, they've saved 20,000 lives who would have died from the air pollution. Instead, they've died for, a number of them have died from the virus. So they've actually saved more people than they've lost by actually closing down the thing. Now, economics and all that, we won't talk about that. But the reality is, these are good things that are happening, and it's amazing how the air pollution drops, gets better. But also, we're seeing animals return to areas. I was reading this article about, dolphins have returned to this coast that hadn't been seen there for 100 years, because the fisheries and all that sort of stuff had stopped, It's amazing how these things are impacting, the world and in some ways our relationship to the world. And then finally, I should have put up a video of this guy, Joe Wick. Many of you may not have known him. I've got kids, 5 o'clock every day in Singapore. My kids get and they do their exercise with Joe Wick. He's a PE with Joe Wick. And, but the important thing is not Joe, okay, but it's the fact that so many people are getting in now and doing things to help people out. And I know for myself, one of the things that we're doing is we're actually looking to start various things. Various property things and that. So, but look, bottom line is, here's my rant for the day, and I guess, look, ignore the virus for the next 3 weeks. If you're sitting in the UK, ignore the virus for the next 3 weeks. If you're in Australia, you're probably a little bit behind that. The US, depending on where you are, if you're in New York, you've probably got another week or two of this, and then, it'll sort of probably got 6 weeks of it left in the US because it'll spread across the whole country. And the amazing thing with that is, if you ignore the media, there's so many good things happening, out there. And look, it's a time for introspection. And I think one of the important things is, I really need to compliment my team. It's amazing how positive they've been. They've taken it on the chin. They've adapted. They've moved into work, from home. We had a lot of plans in place, so we were actually probably more advanced in that respect. We didn't have to, go out and change everything. And, actually we were pretty prepared from that perspective, and we mentally prepared them. And, every day we do our 9:30 meetings, where everybody jumps in. It's a virtual meeting. In the afternoon they send a 5:30 email. So we're doing these regiments, these disciplines, which actually are working really, really well to keep people interactive. We've got a WhatsApp group. The amount of humour and memes that are on there is incredible. It really is showing the best of humanity. Our landlords, it's amazing how many landlords, there's been this tension, and it's some of these, politically lobbyist sort of groups that have pegged landlords and tenants against each other. I've never seen that. In fact, all of our landlords, I don't really think we have any landlords who don't actually, who look down at their tenant or anything like that. But what we're finding now is it's amazing how, when the tenant is in genuine hardship, the landlords are coming to the fore, and we're working together and we're walking our way through it. It's an amazing thing. There's not this, no, screw them, no, screw you. And even the tenants, a lot of times they're calling up and saying, hey, what's this about a payment holiday or, rent free? And it's like, well, it's not rent free. You've still got to pay your rent at some point. And they're like, oh, okay, I thought it was rent free. Don't worry about it. So depending on which country you are in, that's for sure, because actually different countries have had different things happen, different stimulus packages. Some have worked, some haven't. I'm heavily involved with Australia and looking at things there. Their incentive packages there's more incentive to go on welfare than there is to actually maintain workers. Whereas in the UK, there's more incentive to maintain the workers than put them on welfare, which is a good thing. Yeah, but even the government in the UK and around the world, there's many examples of governments. Denmark, 75% coverage of your wage. Canada's, I think, just gave $1,500 per person every month or something. So there's all these sort of things happening, which are great news. And they really are. But look, what I want to say is this: rediscover what's important to you, because this is the time when either you're out of a job or you're furloughed, or there's not a lot to do necessarily. Maybe you're really busy right now, but it's probably going to slow down for a couple of weeks. Think about what it is you really want to do with your life. And maybe the job that you're in right now isn't the job that you want to stay in. Well, there's going to be thousands of job openings when we come out the other end of this, because a lot of people have lost their jobs. There will be unemployment. But also, if you're in a business, now's the time to really ask yourself, is this the business that I want? And maybe you need to pivot the business. Maybe you need to go, you know what, I've been resisting social media and online. Let's embrace it. Let me learn about it. Let me spend this time and learn as much as I can about it. And that's really, one of the great things about that. I think, look, opportunities all around, and I think, to be fair, when I look at things, there's so much opportunity, and I'm already sitting there going, we could do this, and we could do this, and we could do this, and I've got a whiteboard up on my thing, and I'm writing down all my ideas as I, think of them, because some of those will be gems, and some of those will be businesses, and some of those will be businesses that I'll fund other people to do, and I'll just be involved in at the, the initial level. There's so many ideas out there and ways to make money, to pivot, to get through this. One of the things we're doing, if for furloughed or unemployed, now's the time to be spending time with your family, enhancing your career, or be productive. I'm doing 4 things, and that's, so there's going to be 4 live, if you like, or webinars over the thing that I'm running starting next week. I'm already doing the, so there's property for beginners. These are all free, by the way. And that's Tuesdays and Thursdays weekly, So I'm going to be teaching, deep diving into property. Then you got sort your finances. So I'm going to be doing personal finance live with Emmanuel, Ezekiel, and I. We're going to be talking about a whole range of subjects like that. So if you want to learn the disciplines and what makes successful, finances, then that's, the place to be. Get qualified. So for my team, and I'm opening this up to anyone in the industry, if they want to sit on half an hour and get questions answered, if they want to do their level 3 in ALA, this is a UK qualification, then spend that half an hour and get it done. And we'll have grab the material, we'll get the material, and we'll actually sit there and run through it. So you can come away, go and sit your exams and get your qualifications. So that's the third thing. And the fourth thing is learning sales. I haven't put a lot of detail on this. It's just an idea that I had was, I think there's a massive change in sales needed. There has been for a while. It's been slow in coming. So, but I've got heaps of ideas and heaps of training in that. It's my background, so I figure, well, actually, why not spend 30 minutes a day doing that? So there's all these sort of things, but there's hundreds of courses, free courses, discounted courses, all this sort of stuff out there for you. And I think the most important thing is keep the routine no matter what. So even if you're not at work, even if furloughed, or even if you're unemployed, keep a routine, keep the discipline going. And you know what? There's so much good stuff out there. Focus on the good stuff, and that is what your brain will create. Don't focus on the bloody hype and sensationalism and crap, All right, guys, that's my rant for today. Have a fantastic day and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And look, guys, remember to subscribe and comment. Anything you want to know, come back to me and we'll be happy to chat through. But all right, guys, have a great day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. See you guys. Bye.